Novak Djokovic will not be joining other players at the U.S. Open. He tweeted this. We can put it up on screen. Sadly, I will not be able to travel to New York this time for the U.S. Open. Thank you, Noel fam, for your messages of love and support. Good luck to my fellow players, et cetera, et cetera. He's not able to come because he is not vaccinated and he's not a U.S. citizen. And we have this rule that is, I think, impossible to defend at this point, that you can't come to the country unless you're a citizen if you're not vaccinated. So, but this policy doesn't make, and so he chose not to get vaccinated because he's he's a professional athlete. His risk calculation is probably that he's at minimal risk of COVID. He might have already had it, who knows? But while the vaccines have very small risks, it could impact a high performance athlete. They could make the calculation that doesn't make sense for them. The U.S. government will not allow people to make that calculation for themselves if they're in other countries and want to come here, even though other countries don't have this requirement anymore.
And even though obviously you can come and go from America,
you can come and go
without having a vaccine. So this is the issue. The cracks and the inconsistencies in the policies are causing people to have, I think, a lot of legitimate concerns about how well thought through these policies are. If you can come and go as an American, if getting vaccinated isn't as tethered to your ability to spread COVID or affect your neighbors the way that people once thought it was, if it really is a personal health decision, at what point are we going to keep doing this and having these policies, especially when they're blowing up in such high-profile ways?
Nope, there's no public health rationale you can make for this. It's if whether he's vaccinated or not does not at all impact how likely he is really to spread it to someone else. We're all we've conceded that finally. It's just for his own benefit, and he has made a different decision. It's really none of the government's business or anyone else's business. It just doesn't, again, this is not a policy that other countries have. It's, in general, don't we want to be friendly to immigrants in other countries and have an open society? That's something, why are you looking at me like that?
I don't know. I do think it's a little bit of a stretch to pretend that this is all about benevolent feelings about immigration and wanting people to be able to come in the country. I do think that there have been other times, historically, in the United States of America, there have been very strong prohibitions against people coming in with all kinds of not just kind of communicable diseases, but what were described as kind of defects, different kinds of disabilities. And there was this desire to have able-bodied people checked out at Ellis Island for all kinds of things that we would consider to be ableist, to exclude them from now, not wanting feeble-minded people and all kinds of things like that. So I just, this isn't what's going on here, but just like a little bit of historical perspective here. This idea that everyone should be able to come no matter how much they're hacking up in
brought lots of productive, hardworking, violent people to the United States. I could say that because it's my ancestors. But you can only knock your own, your own category of ethnicity.
I see we're doing a little identity politics here, Robby.
It's just for fun. It's been a long day. Getting into the fun stuff. So anyway, it's and we've talked about Novak Djokovic on the show a lot. He's really been hampered in various places from having to deal with the COVID regime, and you just can't make an argument anymore for keeping this in place. Now, if he got some kind of exemption or some kind of waiver, you could then also argue, well, that's unfair. Why does he get it and no one else? So clearly, it's just the policy should be ended, I think, for everyone.
Well, maybe if more high-profile people like this do take these kinds of stands and there is public backlash against it, I haven't really been following this, but I presume there has been some commentary from other people in the field, other athletes, sports commentators and the like, about whether or not this is appropriate, that it will help provoke the government to consider making some of these kinds of changes. I mean, the CDC has come under a lot of scrutiny for its unwillingness to say mea culpa and make some pivots at this moment. And maybe this new changing of the guard with Fauci on his way out is an opportunity for them to have a reset with the general public. I think addressing a policy like this and its effects might be a good way to go about it.
I'm not even sure is this policy, is this a DHS policy? Is this this is the FDA or the CDC's?
That's a good question.
I have no idea who is managing the. I guess this is forced on the airlines essentially, right? This is how this is going to be enforced.
how is it being
I guess he could just
enforced?
come in and no one
How
would.
could you?
No, you do have to present
a vaccination form.
Yeah, I think you do.
And is it equivalent to what we have?
Right, I didn't
cards?
go. I was supposed to go, and then I ended up not going because I wasn't feeling well. I did it remotely because I was supposed to go to Canada to speak, and I ended up not going. And then it looked like I think I was going to have to take a test at that point to get back in. This was months ago now.
Oh,
but it'd be
to
done
get
at
back
the airport.
in.
Yeah.
It wasn't that Canada was prohibiting you from coming in.
I can't recall which way it was.
Okay, so, this is from the CDC. Non-citizen, non-immigrants must be fully vaccinated to travel by air to the U.S. So it does look like a...
Yeah, so that's what has to... But they'll always say, well, that's just the guidance.
And DHS extends COVID-19 vaccination requirements.
It's DHS, yeah, it's DHS, yeah. Great, another wonderful idea from our national security state. Well, that should be changed today, tomorrow, as soon as possible. And we will have more Rising right after this.